All right, time for Ringside Review with our very own Athan Hristodulu. Week 3 of Raw on Netflix. Ath, what did you think? It seemed like a slow night out there in the ring.
So
in between turnbuckles, inside the turnbuckles.
I see what you did there.
I'm new, guys. I'm catching back up. I'm not making fun.
So I don't know if I would say slow is the term. I just feel like the Netflix debut maybe set expectations extremely high. And so it's kind of, they're doing a good job of building towards a few different things that I think we're going to end up seeing. And this is like the direction of WWE right now is the long game. They are so long game focused with a lot of things right now. And we're in a weird transition period where Netflix debut wrapped up a bunch of stuff, so now we're setting the table again. So I think it's just kind of like a bit of an adjustment. But there were definitely some highs and lows from this, or excuse me, just highs that I really, really want to focus on for today's discussion that we have here, especially to do with CM Punk and John Cena, and we'll get to that in a second. But I thought it was a good show.
I think you're being kind, because I'm going to tell you what I saw. It felt to me like they mailed it in, because you had the college football national championship game on. This is my theory, Athan. I think this show was boring as hell, and it was by design because they didn't want to compete with football, the college football natty, to be specific. That's what I think. Am I being crazy? Am I being unfair? Or do you think maybe I'm onto something here?
Listen, man, I might say that Notre Dame maybe mailed in the college football playoff. But to be fair, like I said, there is a lot going on right now in the sports world, and Monday Night Raw suffers from dealing with football all fall long. So it is a battle that they deal with.
True.
And, you know, in my eyes, if that is the case, I'm okay with it, just because you want to save the best that you have for when the most eyes are going to be there. So if you felt it was a slower night, that's fair. And I'll be honest, there was a couple of moments where I even felt the same as well.
Yeah.
But again, that transition time as they're kind of like resetting the table for some of the stories they're setting up for as we get set for the Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then into WrestleMania, this is kind of like the perfect opportunity to have maybe a slower night.
Look, when I'm watching it, though, there was some good action in it. CM Punk. What a promo that guy cut. And then calling Hulk Hogan Dusty.
Yeah.
Like, he dropped that, man. And I was like, all right, like, no one gives an F about Hulk Hogan anymore. I mean, that guy, I'm all for it. Man, that was wild, though, to me, to see CM Punk go at the Hulkster like that.
Yeah,
Dusty.
listen, CM Punk is definitely one of the guys that knows how to like read the room, and he's got the temperature of his audience. And the way I see it right now, nobody is as hot as he is on the mic. And Punk is in that controversial spot right now where there is still a large audience that is not thrilled with him being back and getting the push he's getting because he left for so long. But nobody can capture an audience the way he does, and he held nothing back to anyone, because I mean, he called out Sami Zayn as well. Like, he was pulling no punches, and I love what he's doing here. The other person that he mentioned in that promo, though, that you talked about, and this is something that I hope we can really get into here, is John Cena. And we literally cannot see him right now, and I'm kind of curious as to why.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. It's supposed to be the big retirement tour for him, right? And it's like, where's he been?
Well, I mean, CM Punk's been calling him out, too. I wonder, and I'll ask you this, Athan, do you think this is a setup here? Do you think CM Punk and Cena maybe face off or get into it at the Royal Rumble to set up something later on? Because that's where it feels like it's headed to me.
Unfortunately, that seems, and I don't want to say, unfortunately might not be the right word. Unfortunately for me, somebody who grew up on John Cena and wanting to see him as much as possible during this retirement tour, it feels like they're using Punk to potentially set that up and then roll from there. If I was a betting man right now, the way I'm kind of envisioning this all get laid out now, where this is now the second week in a row, CM Punk has come out, name dropped John Cena, and he's made it clear prior to this too in interviews outside of the wrestling shows that he wants maybe one more match with Cena during this tour. They're going to use him to keep name dropping him. We'll get to the Rumble. There will be the inevitable face-off at some point, whether Punk's already in the ring, Cena's already in the ring, the other person's music hits, they enter the ring. I am full and ready for that stare down.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a bit last week with the Royal Rumble discussion and who I think is going to win. This is how fluid wrestling is. The back-to-back segments of name-dropping Cena now is leading me to believe that maybe one or the other costs that other a shot at winning the Royal Rumble and really setting a stage for a Mania match between the two.
Oh, interesting. I think what the big towards the end of the night too, I don't know what's going on. You got to kind of catch me up on this one, but Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, there's a lot of talk about betrayal. I know there's some bloodlines going on with Roman Reigns as well. I mean, where do those guys stand, especially with everything that happened on the turns? And basically, it just seems like McIntyre's trying to bring Rollins back. I don't know if Rollins is on board. Where do they stand in all this? What's going on with them?
Yeah, so it's a very complicated relationship going on right now, and this goes back, several years with the whole Bloodline storyline and kind of the reign of terror Roman Reigns had for some time. And then it culminating last year at WrestleMania, where it basically took not just Cody, but Cody and a lot of people, Kevin Owens included in there, and some others who had to help him along the way into ultimately defeating Roman at the main event last year. And now you have a situation where Roman has come back. He was given a hero's welcome by the audience, and unfortunately for some people within the business, Roman Reigns was looked at as a good guy because he had Solo Sikoa turn on him and take over his tribal chief role, and he kind of became the enemy of everyone else's enemy, and in that same vein ended up turning everyone into allies to go against this new common enemy. And now you have guys like Kevin Owens and guys like Drew McIntyre that are running around asking, well, what are we all doing here? Why are we helping Roman Reigns after he just literally reigned terror over us for 4 years, and everyone came together to help him defeat Solo Sikoa on the Netflix debut of Raw, and we're basically back where we all started, and that seems to be the point that Drew and guys like Kevin Owens are all trying to point out to all the faces of the company now.
Athan, I know he's not on a Mount Rushmore, but as long as he's been doing it and as prolific as he has been, while we're talking about him, where do you think Roman Reigns, when it's all said and done, because he still has a lot of career ahead of him, even though he's accomplished as he is, where do you think he's going to end up ranking? Like, are we talking, could you see a Roman Reigns as like all-time consensus, all of us sort of agree, top 10, top 20? I mean, is this what we're talking about with this guy, do you think? Because I think he's an all-timer already, and he still has a lot of career left.
Yeah, listen, I mean, there are old heads that'll probably disagree with what I'm going to say here, and, maybe there is a tiny bit of recency bias sprinkled into this, but I'm somebody who appreciates the time of wrestling before I started watching, the time that I did watch, and now the time that is going on presently. Roman Reigns, from the championship run that he had, which spanned over basically 4 years of time, and everything that he has done, the way he carried the company into this era where WWE is more popular, it is more financially secure than it's ever been in any shape or form, it's hard to argue that he isn't one of the greatest, if not the greatest professional wrestler of all time. And when you have guys like even John Cena that are willing to even say things like that and allude to it, I think it goes without saying. And I mean, Triple H, the guy who runs the show now, he's on that Mount Rushmore if you want to throw him on there as well. And if not Mount Rushmore, he's somewhere of importance. At this point, it's hard to argue against him. He is the guy.
Okay. Listen, I sold him short, and I'm a fan.
Yeah.
You're saying he's already one of the GOATs.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'll tell you who I was going to compare him to. Maybe this is lunacy, but I look at a Randy Orton as a guy who's an all-timer, and I sort of hold them in the same wavelength, I guess, the same stratosphere. It sounds like I'm tripping, and he has usurped Randy Orton. Is that fair?
That's honestly, it's fair to say. When I look at Randy Orton and just the span of his career, all-time great professional wrestler, but Roman Reigns' popularity extends beyond professional wrestling itself and into the mainstream, and that's something you have to take into account whether you're a wrestling fan or not, and just looking at the grand scheme of things. Roman transcends just professional wrestling, and again, he has helped carry this company out of the COVID era when there was not a fan in the arena, and you're doing nothing but performing in front of, when they were doing screens or no screens, and it was just piped in audio noise, to drag them out of that era, keep the company alive, and bring them to where they are today. It's very hard to argue against Roman. And again, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan. I get it. Undertaker, my favorite guy. Like, there's a lot of names that can be thrown out there, but Roman put the company on his back for half a decade when nobody else was able to do what he would do.
All right.
I mean, that's a huge endorsement right there. Hey, Ripley, Jax, who you got? Tread lightly. Travis's favorite wrestler.
Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
It's Ripley.
I'm a big Jax fan.
It's Ripley. I'm sorry, Trevor. It's gonna be Ripley. She's back. She's on a tear. She looks as good as she has in some time. And if I have to envision it, she's probably carrying the title not just into this year's WrestleMania, but quite possibly next year's as well, without dropping the title at any point in between.
And
Jax will be back, George. Don't worry. She'll be back.
I got Ripley in it too. No offense, Trav. I know it's your favorite wrestler.
Sorry,
I'm
Travis.
picking against your go on this one. Better move. Penta with another Mexican destroyer. Or Zoe Stark with that springboard drop kick. I think I know the answer to this one.
No, listen, I might disappoint you here. I'm going to have to go with Zoe Stark's missile drop kick.
No, I agree.
Springboard off the ropes.
It was perfect.
Come on.
I mean, come on.
No, the timing, Trev.
Really?
You watch that, you're like, holy.
Wow.
It's those types of things that make wrestling beautiful in the sport that it is. With the way, those are the types of things you can't script. That just happens, and that was, like you said, chef's kiss. Beautiful.
It was like the timing. It's there's the setup to going down. Basically it's like in the football terms of it, how I look at it. It's like an offense running a play for a particular moment, a particular time in the first half, setting it up in the fourth quarter. Run the same scheme, receivers wide open, quarterback doesn't have to look, just lets the ball go. The timing was immaculate on it. I saw that. I got fired up seeing Penta do his thing. Same night Rey Mysterio's out there.
Yeah.
The springboard drop kick, though, I was like, that has to be the moment of the night.
Oh, absolutely. Slam of the night is what I like to call it. Slam
of the night. I like it. Slam of the night on the Ringside Review. 8th, always good to have you stop by, man. It's fun talking to even on the quieter nights. It feels like there's still so much going on and so much looking forward to.
And Royal Rumble's right around the corner. Things are about to get very, very hot.
All right.
It's like a show, man. You got to break out big episode 1, 2, 3, set up the storylines. Let's dip it back up, start going back towards the sky in the next few episodes. He's Athan Hristodulu, stopping by, as always, with the Ringside Review. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Boston Has Entered the Chat. Make sure to get new episodes wherever you get your podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday through Friday. You can also watch on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.